Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Tina. I'm an analytical thinker from the linear world who is 5 years into my journey of self-awakening, and I'm here to share with you a few tools which have served me well as I venture down this path of self-discovery. This is in fact video number 2. Last week I posted an introductory video to explain why at age 50 I would begin a YouTube channel. So feel free to go check out that video if you'd like to hear the nuts and bolts of what this video series is about, but quite simply, it's a series of 14 videos that I am going to post that will hopefully assist people like me coming from a more linear mindset as you approach this world of self-awakening or, continue down the path of self-awakening. So with that, let's dig into today's topic of believing. As I mentioned in the first video, believing is actually the first chapter of a book that I'm writing. The book is actually still in manuscript form and is in the hands of the editors who are working their magic. Future videos will mirror the other chapters of that book, just as a FYI. So with that, writing this book really put itself in my path about 2.5 years ago. And what I'm being guided to now is that we can't necessarily wait even a few months for this book to kind of see itself into or through the editing and publishing process. Word needs to get out to you folks now. Information that has been presented to me over the last 5 years and needs to get into your hands, even if it's just snippets of information through these videos. So here, the YouTube channel was born. I placed believing as the first chapter of the book, and so therefore the first video, because I'm assuming that something has occurred or things have occurred in your life that have piqued your curiosity. Perhaps they are serendipitous moments that have given you pause, some synchronicities have happened, but I'm guessing it is more a feeling of a pull to something bigger, a pull for more to happen in your lives, for a better version of you, for more for your family or your community or your town or your state or you get what I'm saying, the country, the world, the universe even. And I can tell you that you're not alone with that. We're all feeling this pull. It may be to varying degrees, but we're all feeling a pull to more. So with that, I thought believing is a good first step with that. As many of us step down this path, we're faced with where's our believability meter, so to speak. Do we believe in a better version of ourselves, all the way to do we believe in a higher being? For those of us who were raised in, a religious house, then that last one isn't such a big leap. But for those of us who are not, that's a huge leap to believing that there is more to this whole existence than ourselves, right? There's something else in motion that we can't define, we can't scientifically justify or explain to ourselves. And often we've all been on this path of and I kind of mentioned in the last video, I think, of the school, the college, let me get it right because there's an order to it, the career, the partner or marriage, the what comes next, the pets, the kids, the house, we've got the house in there. And we're all so caught up in that preset plan that we're on, that we forget how to believe, or that there's even something for us to believe in, right? So let's get back to the wide range of things, where all of a sudden we feel that pull and we start saying, is there a better version of ourselves out there? So ask yourself, do you believe in a better version of yourselves? Do you believe that you can have an impact on the world? Do you believe that there's a universal energy? Do you believe that there are signs from the universe? And, we mentioned this before, we're all unique individuals, and so we have different interpretations, or our believability meter is different, it's set differently. And quite honestly, that's going to evolve as we evolve, but there's so much out there for us to believe in, and I think opening ourselves up to that is really kind of a first step. I want to share with you kind of a story, and hopefully we all take ourselves so seriously, so hopefully this will lighten things up a little bit. And it's my first step into believing, because I came from that conservative insurance world, and I analyzed and justified and all that kind of stuff. And about 5 years ago, it was actually 5 years in January, so January 2016, I took my first step. And I was going through a divorce at the time, and I was a bit of a mess, I will say, and leave it at that. And these two wonderful women, one being my sister, invited me to go to a yoga nidra with Reiki session one evening. And I thought, sure, why not? I didn't know what either were. I didn't know what yoga nidra was or Reiki was. And what they told me was, okay, it's not some intense yoga session, you're fine. And two, turn off your analytical brain, do not overthink things that happen here. So I went. I got there and felt like a fish out of water. Like, you walk into this environment with these people who are on this path and look like they belong there, and I feel like I stuck out like a sore thumb. So I found my respective place in the back of the room, and lights went down, and we took these positions. And in case you don't know yoga nidra, you sit for 45 minutes and you don't talk, you don't speak. And that was going to be beyond me. And in addition to, I had not meditated or anything, so my mind chatter was in full force. I didn't know how to turn off that brain. And so we got into position, and this woman who I learned Reiki energy work and stuff, she came around the first time and placed her hands on us, one at a time. So she gets to me and she puts her hands on my back, and I felt this heat, and I had no idea what that was. And it was later explained to me that was probably the energy, the heat from others in the class. Okay. And so we continued on, sitting silent, lights down, and she comes around a second time, and she places her hands on my back, and this white light blasted into my eyes, and followed by my eyes began this rapid eye movement back and forth so fast, freaked me out. And I had to sit there. I had to lay there in position without saying anything or asking any questions. So of course I couldn't focus, and I looked around trying to see if a car, the headlights could have come through and flashed their lights, and that would have justified it. And I tried everything in my mind to figure out what that could have been. Of course, when we came, lights came on, it was the first thing I did was ask these questions. And the white light, somebody came up with a theory that it was stuck energy inside me coming unstuck. I didn't know what that meant. It seemed feasible, I guess. And likely I had a ton of stuck energy. So, hindsight now, yes, that was probably it. Nobody could quite figure out the eye movement piece. And so I was seeing a counselor at the time and asked her, and she had a nice scientific explanation or possible explanation for me, and that it was, let me make sure I don't mess it up, that it was EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and similar to what therapists use with their patients. And she thought maybe it was my brain trying to make sense of the analytical side with what was going on in that class. And so I accepted that and whatnot. She also made a point of saying that had I wanted the eye movement thing to stop, I could have just opened my eyes, which that's true as well. So anyway, with that, the door to believing was cracked open for me. Now, being who we are, those of us who like to analyze, overthink, justify, maybe judge things a bit, we don't move at the rabbit's pace, right? We move at the turtle's pace. So that door to awakening was cracked open, and quite honestly, once it's cracked open, it's probably never going to close, but it's going to continue to open at the, we'll call it at the turtle's pace, but at a snail's pace. But it opened my mind to believing in more. And as we venture down that path, we believe in more, right? Each thing that occurs opens or changes our believability meter a bit more, because we evolve and things in our life evolve as we do. So with that, coming from our linear world, it's about letting go, right? It's about relinquishing control to the universe, for this magic to seep into our lives. And if we combine those things with living from our heart space that we talked about last week, living from a place of love, light, kindness, compassion, and gratitude, and being present with our moments, then we start entering this flow of consciousness, and we help raise the universal consciousness as well. But this magical world starts appearing where these synchronicities, this magic, just keeps unfolding, and our believing just continues to open, and it's quite spectacular. But I do want to say to all of us too that who we are can be tough at times, as we venture on this journey. And so to do all this, we have to own our journeys, and that is a tough nugget for some of us, right? Because we're concerned we're going to be perceived by the mainstream world, our mainstream friends and colleagues, as crazy. And so maybe we closet it, or we don't, we just don't talk about it, our weekend escapades, spiritual escapades that we go on. But we need to own it, because this path is the path that all of us are needing to walk down. And I truly believe that we linear thinkers that are starting to watch these videos or ask these questions or read these books, we are needed to be a bridge for our fellow linear thinkers and help them as they step onto this path, because everybody is feeling the pull. Like I mentioned before, we're all feeling the pull in its different degrees, but this is truly the path that we all need to be on. And I think that's our purpose here a little bit. So to begin, maybe it's simply to believe in a truer version of ourselves, and maybe that's where we start. So I think that's a wrap for this week. Remember that this video, or these videos, and the book that will follow are truly an outline for you to build your own story of self-awakening around, which is exciting for you, right? Exciting for all of us. And again, the book is in the editing process. I'm hoping for a summer release. So in the meantime, we're just going to continue on these videos and go through the chapters and get, even if it's just snippets of information to you in the meantime. Next Thursday's video, we're going to cover self-healing, which we all need, whether we know that or not. Also, I just want to touch on, if you're interested, again, no pressure, but you can go to my website, which is TinaLMoody, MOODY.com, and on the homepage is a subscribe button. If you would like to receive my Monday emails, they're really quick. It's the only video or only email that I send out, as not to inundate anybody's inbox. But in October 2020, I started receiving messages from some guides, which is spectacular and unexpected and still crazy in my mind. Each Monday morning, I sit down and receive their message, which they want to send out into the world, words of inspiration that you can take forward on your week. So feel free to subscribe if you would like to that. And with that, much love and gratitude for you for joining me on this crazy adventure. And I hope to see you back next week as we discuss self-healing. Take care and have a great weekend.